Cogitating Ceviché presents Mikhail Bulgakov, the master satirist of Soviet literature. Honoring the overlooked satirists and thinkers who altered our perspectives, number 25. By Konrad Hannon. Narration by Amazon Polly. Preface. Welcome to the 25th installment of our series, Honoring the Overlooked Satirists and Thinkers Who Altered Our Perspectives. In this edition, we examine the life and legacy of Mikhail Bulgakov, a figure whose profound impact on literature and satire resonates far beyond the confines of his own tumultuous era. Mikhail Bulgakov, born in the twilight of Imperial Russia and coming of age during the seismic shifts of the Bolshevik Revolution, crafted narratives that transcended the surface realities of Soviet life to explore deeper truths about the human condition. Working under the shadow of severe censorship and political repression, Bulgakov's works satirized the society in which he lived and celebrated the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversities. Through The Master and Margarita, Heart of a Dog, and other seminal works, Bulgakov used his sharp wit and boundless imagination to peel back the layers of bureaucratic absurdity and ideological rigidity that defined Soviet society. His ability to infuse the fantastical with the satirical created a space where readers could confront the harsh realities of their existence with both laughter and critical thought. As we explore Bulgakov's contributions to satirical literature, we also reflect on the universal themes that make his work enduringly relevant. In this preface, we invite you to journey through the complex interplay of art and politics, fantasy and reality, as we celebrate the genius of Mikhail Bulgakov, a master satirist whose vision has continued to inspire and challenge us to view the world through a lens sharpened by both humor and humanity. Join us as we pay tribute to Bulgakov's artistic bravery and intellectual rigor, and discover why his voice, often suppressed during his lifetime, has become an enduring echo in discussions about freedom, creativity, and the enduring power of satire to speak truth to power. Introduction. Mikhail Bulgakov, born in 1891, in the vibrant city of Kyiv, initially embarked on a career far removed from the literary world. Trained as a medical doctor, his experiences during World War I and the tumultuous Russian Civil War profoundly influenced his perspective and thematic focus. These early professional encounters with human suffering and societal upheaval steered him towards a path where he could critique and comment on the complexities of human nature and governance through the written word. Transitioning from medicine to literature in the early 1920s, Bulgakov began to carve out a niche for himself in the Moscow literary scene. His acerbic wit and keen observation of Soviet life soon found their most potent expression in what would become his magnum opus, The Master and Margarita. This novel, completed during the last years of his life but published posthumously, emerged as a defining piece of satirical literature, audaciously exploring the absurdities of Soviet society under the guise of fantastical narrative layers. Through this work, Bulgakov not only challenged the oppressive norms of his time, but also cemented his legacy as a master satirist, whose works continue to resonate with readers around the world. The essence of Bulgakov's satire. The essence of Bulgakov's satire, woven through the fabric of his narrative style, was marked by an elegant subtlety and piercing intelligence. His satirical approach was not just a direct critique of the Soviet regime, but a clever, multi-layered exploration of the broader human condition under authoritarian rule. Bulgakov's wit sparkled through allegory and metaphor, allowing him to veil his critiques in narratives that could be as enchanting as they were sharp. In The Master and Margarita, Bulgakov employed fantasy and the supernatural with a deft hand, transforming Moscow into a playground for the devil disguised as a foreign magician. This supernatural intervention in the mundane life of Soviet citizens created a surreal, distorted mirror of society that questioned the very fabric of reality. Through these fantastical elements, Bulgakov could dissect the absurdities of Soviet bureaucracy and the hollow nature of its officialdom, without explicitly mentioning them by name. This safeguarded the manuscript from the eyes of eager censors, and enriched the reader's experience by embedding layers of meaning to be uncovered. Fantasy was a protective cloak for Bulgakov's incisive observations, allowing him to navigate the treacherous waters of Soviet censorship. By setting his satirical sights on the hypocritical and often ludicrous manifestations of the state's power, Bulgakov's works transcended the specifics of their setting to offer timeless commentary on the dangers of unchecked authority. His use of the supernatural thus became a powerful tool in the satirist's arsenal, a means to highlight the incongruities of Soviet life through a lens that was as entertaining as it was critical. Key works and themes. Mikhail Bulgakov's literary arsenal is rich with works that subtly but sharply criticize the socio-political landscape of Soviet Russia, each piece offering a unique satirical lens on the era's ideologies and practices. In The Master and Margarita, Bulgakov constructs a complex narrative architecture that interlaces two distinct stories, one of the devil wreaking havoc in Stalin's Moscow, and the other a historical flashback to Pontius Pilate in Jerusalem. This novel satirizes the banality and bureaucracy of Soviet life by juxtaposing it with the supernatural chaos introduced by Woland, the devil's alias. The absurdity of bureaucratic inefficiencies is spotlighted, as the Soviet system struggles to rationalize or control the fantastical events unfolding. Moreover, Bulgakov critiques the manipulation of historical narratives through Pilate's story, reflecting on the consequences of distorting truth for political purposes. The dual narratives are a clever device to underscore the parallels between the suppression of truth in ancient times and the contemporary Soviet regime. Heart of a Dog features a sharply comedic tone where Bulgakov tells the story of a stray dog transformed into a human through a grotesque medical experiment. This novella is a direct satire on the Soviet regime's attempts to mold its citizens into ideal, obedient forms, mirroring the state's larger social engineering efforts. The protagonist, Sharikov, ultimately embodies the failures of these experiments, reflecting the inherent flaws and moral ambiguities in trying to reshape society according to ideological blueprints. Other notable works include The White Guard, a novel that offers a more subdued but poignant look at the effects of the Ukrainian War of Independence and the Russian Civil War on a single family, highlighting the personal losses and societal upheaval. Meanwhile, his play, The Days of the Turbans, based on The White Guard, subtly critiques the futility and destruction of civil conflict, managing to resonate with Soviet audiences despite its critical undertones. While less fantastical, these works continue to employ Bulgakov's characteristic wit and insight to critique a regime that sought to suppress individuality and historical complexity. Bulgakov's techniques of satire. Mikhail Bulgakov's satirical brilliance shines through his adept use of irony, hyperbole, and absurdity, literary techniques that allow him to deftly critique the Soviet political and societal environment. Through these devices, he captures life's surreal and often dystopian reality under authoritarian rule, amplifying the USSR's inherent contradictions and bureaucratic follies. Irony is a key element in Bulgakov's satirical toolbox, particularly evident in The Master and Margarita. Here, irony manifests in the reversal of expectations. The devil, a social critic of Soviet Moscow, and a writer who burns his manuscript only to find it returned unharmed because manuscripts don't burn. These ironic twists add humor and underscore the deeper critique of a society where official propaganda frequently inverts truth and morality. Hyperbole is another technique Bulgakov employs to significant effect. In Heart of a Dog, the transformation of a dog into a human being through experimental surgery is an exaggerated metaphor for the Soviet state's attempts to transform its citizens into ideal, compliant models. The results are ludicrous and, at times, horrifying, highlighting the unnaturalness and dangers of enforced ideological conformity. Absurdity permeates Bulgakov's narratives, perhaps nowhere more so than in the chaotic scenes of The Master and Margarita, where the supernatural and the mundane collide. This collision creates bizarre scenarios that mirror the absurd and often Kafkaesque reality of everyday life in the Soviet Union, where ordinary people must navigate a labyrinth of nonsensical regulations and contradictions. Beyond these techniques, Bulgakov's satirical edge is sharpened by his creation of complex characters and multilayered narratives. His characters are not mere caricatures but deeply flawed, multifaceted individuals navigating a repressive society. This complexity ensures that the satirical elements of his stories do not feel dated, but remain relevant and poignant. The narratives are intricately woven, with multiple threads inviting the reader to unravel deeper meanings and reflections on power, freedom, and human nature. Through these sophisticated literary techniques, Bulgakov not only entertained but also provoked his readers to think critically about the society they lived in. His work is a testament to satire's enduring power to challenge the status quo and inspire reflection on fundamental human values, impact, and legacy. During his lifetime, Mikhail Bulgakov experienced a tumultuous relationship with the Soviet literary establishment and authorities. His works, brimming with veiled critiques and satirical takes on Soviet society, frequently met with censorship, resulting in a sparse publication history. Notably, The Master and Margarita was written secretly and only published decades after his death. Despite these challenges, Bulgakov's works circulated in underground, hand-copied manuscripts, a testament to their resonance with readers who found in them a voice of dissent and a mirror of the absurdities of their own lives. After Bulgakov died in 1940, the Soviet Union slowly recognized and embraced his genius. The Master and Margarita was finally published in a censored form in the 1960s, and fully in the 1970s, and quickly became a cultural phenomenon. This posthumous recognition began a re-evaluation of Bulgakov's work, increasingly seen as literary art and a symbol of artistic resistance against totalitarianism. His ability to embed subversive thoughts within captivating narratives offered a form of silent protest that inspired readers and other artists and writers. Bulgakov's influence extends far beyond the borders of Russia, touching writers and artists worldwide. His use of the fantastical to critique reality has inspired authors such as Salman Rushdie and Daniel Kellman, who have similarly employed magical realism and satire to discuss societal and political issues in their works. In Russia, Bulgakov has inspired dissident writers and playwrights who see in his legacy a blueprint for using art as a form of resistance. Moreover, Bulgakov's impact is evident in contemporary media and popular culture, with adaptations of his works appearing in films, theater, and graphic novels. His approach to narrative and character development continues to be studied in literary courses around the world, making him a global figure in world literature. Bulgakov's legacy is thus characterized by his remarkable resilience, his creative spirit in the face of oppression, and his works that continue to find new audiences and interpretations. His writings not only illuminate the historical and political landscape of his times, but also offer timeless insights into the human condition, underscoring the power of literature to transcend its immediate context. Conclusion. Mikhail Bulgakov's contributions to satirical literature remain as vibrant and significant today as they were during the complex tapestry of early 20th century Soviet life. His masterful blending of the fantastical with the real and the profound with the absurd allowed him to navigate and critique the repressive environment under which he lived. Bulgakov's narratives, rich with irony, hyperbole, and elaborate character studies, dissected the absurdities and tyrannies of Soviet bureaucracy and the broader human conditions of freedom, power, and creativity. Through works like The Master and Margarita and Heart of a Dog, Bulgakov not only entertained but also provided a sharp social commentary that continues to resonate with audiences around the globe. His ability to mask his criticisms behind a veil of fantasy provided a clever means to evade censorship, offering a blueprint for writers and artists living under oppressive regimes. As we reflect on Bulgakov's enduring legacy, we are prompted to question the relevance of his satirical techniques in today's political and social climate. How might Bulgakov's approach to satire and critique inform the work of contemporary artists and writers facing their own societal challenges? In an era marked by its profound social and political complexities, what lessons can be drawn from Bulgakov's ability to use satire, not just as a tool for critique, but as a means for survival and resistance? These questions underscore the timeless nature of Bulgakov's work and affirm the role of the satirist in continually challenging the status quo and inspiring societal reflection and change. Thank you for stopping by today. Until next time, stay gruntled.